Hey, yeah, I can.
Good, good. Thanks. Let's move right into it. I understand you've got a 9:30 cut here. Um, so we'll talk quickly.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. And if you need any more time later, I'd be happy to.
okay, may want to do that, but why did you want to start a business?
I didn't originally want to start a business. I wanted to start a nonprofit, uh, and we were focused on the mission of what that nonprofit would do. The phrase I normally use is I felt backwards into entrepreneurship, but the point is that we found a nonprofit very hard to scale, very unreliable, and hard to be sustainable as well. You could have revenue generating nonprofits, but it was just hard and complicated to do. So it ended up being easier to start a for-profit company, and then we found value from it and being able to scale faster. And the faster we scaled, the more impact we made.
There's been a comments made that you have to do well to do good.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Probably in principle more than how some people apply it. But I think for AgriCycle, profitability is one of the most important things we have. If AgriCycle goes away, then what we're doing goes away. So there's a point at which we want to get AgriCycle could go away, and the farmers we're working with would be able to keep going doing what we're doing. But yeah.
Good. Let me ask some questions about your early years. Did you have a lemonade stand when you were a kid?
No, but I sold frogs that I would catch in a forest.
You sold frogs? Who
Yes.
would buy them?
Other kids on the street,
No
like a
kidding.
couple years older. I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
I was 3.
So you made some money selling frogs.
I sold them $1 a frog, so I'm not
That's
sure how
great.
much money it was.
Did that develop into anything else? Did you have any other activities of that nature?
None of them,
Did you mow
like sales
yards,
based.
or did you shovel snow, or did you do anything
Oh,
else to make money?
no, I mean, for the most part, there wasn't really much to do with money, but everywhere I went, I started something. Like I
Uh-huh.
started a cult in 8th grade as a joke.
A
Had
what?
a cult.
A
Uh,
cult.
had 130 members, a fake constitution. 2 teachers joined it until the principal shut it down 2 weeks later.
Oh my
I
gosh.
I started an academic competitions team while I was in high school. I was normally like starting some sort of organization, I'd say, more than I was like necessarily selling something.
So you were interested in getting people motivated to do something, it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
I would definitely
been
say
your
that.
motivation all along, it sounds like. You're trying to gather, you get a mission and you gather people around it to make it happen.
Yeah.
Did you did you have any entrepreneurial activities in high school? Were you a member of DECA or Junior Achievement or Mini Economies or anything like that?
The only thing we had was an economics class, and I didn't take it.
You
There
didn't take it.
wasn't anything like that. No, no, I
No.
didn't.
It's okay. Now, when you were in college, what
Mhm.
entrepreneurial activities did you have?
Um, well, my university didn't have really anything entrepreneurial. There was a neat entrepreneurship class, but I didn't have the like class standing to join it yet. Um, when I went into college, though, I was part of the honors program. So my year long project ended up being incredibly entrepreneurial, and it's where I got the idea to do what I'm doing now.
What was that year-long project?
It was originally, so I mean, it evolved a lot. What they came
Uh-huh.
to us with was it was a nonprofit in Jamaica that said, "Hey, mangoes grow crazy out here. We need to do something with the mangoes. We've tried jamming it. We've tried, they did something else with it, juicing
Yeah.
it. They tried juicing, jamming, and they're like, we're going to try drying. And we're going to take dried mangoes and turn them into beer. We need you," and they were talking to us, our honors team, to figure out a business model for turning dried mangoes into beer. It was a terrible idea. We went to the National Science Foundation Innovation Corps, did that for the 4 or 5 weeks long program. Very quickly pivoted
Through
to,
through
hey,
whom? Was it through MSOE,
um,
or was it through UWM?
yeah, it was through MSOE. So I guess we're the MSOE like projects
Uh-huh.
that year or quarter. But it
Now,
was
were you
through
working
the
with a Central American country, or where were you getting the mangoes?
Latin America. So it was Jamaica.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so it was originally, I was very early, like we didn't have a dehydrator, we didn't have dried fruits yet. It was really just figuring out the business model for it,
Uh-huh.
which is where we pivoted from doing the beer to doing just dried fruit sold, to customers.
Did you ever sell much?
No, first entire year there was nothing sold. We did a lot of customer discovery. Like we went through the customer discovery process. We ended up joining the Commons after, which really helped accelerate the idea as well. Um, there were a lot of partners that were involved with that project. There was a senior design team from the University of Michigan that was supposed to design the dehydrator. There were business consultants and engineering consultants figuring out the supply chain. By the end of the year, every single one of those partners had dropped off of the project. And so our group of freshmen ended up designing the dehydrators, figuring out how to export stuff, meeting a food safety plan. I doubt it was a correct food safety plan. But what happened by the end is we were responsible for every bit of it. We traveled to Jamaica at the end of the year. We built a dehydrator there successfully. Even that was different than we thought. there were issues on the nonprofit side of things that, were not transparent. So we showed up and we weren't meeting with the same people we thought we were going to meet with. The farmers didn't know about it, despite the fact we thought we were getting responses from them to our questions for an entire year. Long story short is that it didn't go at all like as planned, and the work we did in Jamaica wasn't that great. It was good given the circumstances, but the idea is what I took and kind of ran with and pivoted in a different direction. So nothing we did in Jamaica really stood after that, but the idea that was formulated and piloted and iterated is what we took.
Did you do anything further with the dried mangoes, or did it just drop after you finished Jamaica?
Yeah, so we tried. So I mean, we do dried mangoes to this day. In many other communities, we tried working with that specific community in the Blue Mountains of Jamaica, which is where we got our name back then, which Blue Mountains, Blue Mangoes. So we tried working with that community. The communication fell off very quickly, which actually informed a lot of what our modern model is, which is, we have entirely local staff. We don't work through nonprofits. We work directly with communities and farmers. So it really shaped a lot of what we're doing now.
Well, great. Did you finish MSOE?
Not technically, no. So
You didn't get a degree.
No, I did not. I've
How many years did you attend?
4.
I'm sorry?
4 years. So
4
my
years,
first
okay.
year, I walked in almost as a sophomore. By the end of it, I was a junior. My second year, I had finished almost all of my structural engineering courses. My third and my fourth year, I meandered a lot. I took very small credit loads, and then I'd drop a few classes each quarter. Basically, whatever had homework, I would normally drop it, and just like kick it off to the next quarter. Because during that third and fourth year, I was doing a lot. I did struggle in one quarter for sure. That was just truly, hit a wall as far as what I could handle. But the other quarters was a lot more strategic, and I was working on building AgriCycle. I was actively pitching the company. We were on a TV show. We were working with Target, and so I just made my courses so that I could just kind of keep going through. By the end of it, we got into the Target incubator, and I currently have like 4 classes left if I want the degree, a technical elective, accounting, which is
Wonderful.
funny considering, running the business. But after Target Incubator, everything picked up very quickly. We raised money soon after, and got customers. Oh, sorry.
Where'd you get the money?
We got it from a handful of angel investors, and then a venture capital firm, and then an angel network and an angel fund.
Did you get enough? I don't know whether you want to disclose it, but how much money did you get?
Yeah, we raised 1.4 million.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. So it was great, and then that kind of directly led right into COVID on the other side. So yeah.
How many people do you employ?
Currently, 28 directly. And then we've created over 6,800 livelihoods with the women and farmers that we work with.
Tell what the business is, if you can, in a nutshell.
Yeah. So instead of the normal pitch, which would be AgriCycle is a vertically integrated value chain and network of over 35,000 farmers, it's easier to say that there's a lot of fruits that grow naturally in rural communities across the world. And rural communities typically can't do anything with it. 95% of all wasted food in sub-Saharan Africa comes from this food that grows and doesn't get to a market. And so we design machines that work without electricity, sell it to those farmers and to those rural communities, train them on how to use those machines. Now we're actually also partnering to provide solar electricity and health insurance to them as well for joining our network. And then we purchase the products they make using our machines. So we purchase those products like dried fruits, sustainable charcoals, gluten-free baking flours, and we sell those in the United States. So it's a two-sided market.
Where are your sources? Where are the farms? Where are they? part of the world?
Uh, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, so that's East Africa, Liberia, and then we're venturing into Ghana right now, so West Africa. And then Latin America, we are kind of in Haiti, touch and go. There's been lots of issues regionally, as well as Jamaica, and then in Guatemala.
Great. I'm losing you a little bit. All right, now you're back.
Oh, sorry.
What does your family think of all this?
Uh, right now, they're happy. They're proud. Yeah. Originally, there was like a lot of pride, and then it started taking over from what I was doing at school, and there was a lot of anger and like confusion. I'm not sure at what point it transitioned to they no longer like look down on me for it, but as of now, they're okay with it.
Well, that's great. What have been your greatest satisfactions of the entrepreneurial activities you've taken?
I honestly think creating jobs. It had while our mission and academically, I'm most interested in the 6,800 livelihoods we've created. I think the most satisfaction I've had is from the 28 people that we directly employ, and like it's a personal relationship with somebody that like I don't even see most of them each day now, but
Would you say it's a team?
yeah, yeah,
You
definitely.
used that term that you had a hard stop because of the team. So,
Yeah, yeah. All of us. I used it intentionally at the very beginning, but I mean that was like 2 years ago. Everybody since just calls it the team. We're called team members. You know, like part of it's a culture thing, but I really think like genuinely, most of us are friends. Like we'll hang out after work, which means we see each other all day. But yeah.
that's wonderful. It's a wonderful situation. One of the things that I'm trying to do with all of this is to tell these stories like yours, so that students, when they're either in high school or joining a university, um, consider entrepreneurship as something that they may want to do. I give a lecture to freshmen each year, and it's interactive, and I ask them a lot of questions. And I'd say a very high percentage have never even considered entrepreneurship or never even considered having their own business. They were going to get to college, you get a college degree, interview, go get a job and work for somebody. How do we let students know that there are alternatives? I think I'm losing you. Can you hear me all right? You're frozen on the screen, so it's not, I'm not getting you. Nuts. Can you hear me? I lost my internet service last night.